Hello, this is René Winkelmeyer from Salesforce, and in this short video I want to showcase how you can leverage the Salesforce App Cloud to interact with third-party cloud systems. In the world of CRM, it is very important for sales reps to have all information of a customer at their fingertips. This is an example achieved by using an account record. So my United Oil and Gas UK account has currently no activity, and I want to add mail activity to this account. So let's start with a walkthrough how I'm logging mail from a third-party system, in this example IBM Verse, to my account. After the walkthrough, we will also dig through some key components of the code so that you can see how you can achieve this for your own organization. IBM Verse has the capability to extend a mail with custom actions. So I've added a log to Salesforce action, which then sends the data of this mail to a new on Heroku running app, where I'm then leveraging a Salesforce App Cloud to log the mail to my account. So the app gets opened. As you can see, it runs on Heroku. I'm logging in using OAuth and a connected app. What you see here now is a Lightning Out component leveraging the Salesforce Lightning design system and also the new base Lightning components. In the account search, I'm entering the account where I want to log the email to. So Uni, I'm selecting the account and I'm logging the mail. Message has been logged, so let's check. Hooray, the mail has been logged. As you can see, with all HTML rendering and so forth. So let's take a look how you can achieve this with code in your own organization. The data that has been sent when I'm issuing this command log to Salesforce from IBM Verse sends the data of the mail as JSON to the browser window using post message. Here you are seeing a reference of the mail data that gets sent. It contains fields like body, recipient, sender, subject, and so forth. We are leveraging those fields to map them to a new email message record within Salesforce. So let's take a look how the standalone app that runs on Heroku leverages this data. As the app is a Node app, I'm using the EGS rendering engine to display the HTML. On the /verse junction, I'm also passing a few parameters to configure my EGS app. The first parameter is a consumer key, which I'm getting from the connected app setup within Salesforce. The second parameter, verse source server, is used to prevent cross-site scripting. I think it's very important that when you have multiple window approach that you also make sure that you're only accepting data from the servers that you expecting data getting sent from. The other two parameters are the Lightning Out app that I want to create and also which Lightning component I want to see in this Lightning Out app. In part of the EGS file, I'm checking for the cross-site scripting the event origin of the post message. If it doesn't match my configured server, I'm returning and I'm not doing anything more. If this check has been passed, I'm storing the event data within a global JavaScript variable called _verse object. This is very important because this is a JSON payload that holds the mail data from IBM Verse. As you saw in the demo, parts of the Lightning Out app have been pre-configured with, an example, the mail subject. And this is just based on this configuration. So as you can see in this app.js file, and that's the important part that creates the Lightning Out app, I am creating the Lightning component and I'm passing the global variable _verse object as a parameter. And this basically translates to an existing Aura attribute, which is part of the Lightning component. So let's see how the IBM Verse mail lightning out app that I've created and also the according component looks like. For those that are not familiar with lightning out, it's a technology that allows you to embed any Lightning application within any HTML application. So you can run that standalone, let's say, like you can see here in this window, or you can embed it into an existing application using an iframe, in example. The cool thing with Lightning Out is that they don't have to live in an iframe. They are a full citizen within the HTML DOM. So going back to the Lightning markup, you only have to create an Aura application that extends Lightning Out. This also adds, since Winter 17, the full Salesforce Lightning design system to your application. So you don't have to add another static resource. The second thing you have to do is to add an Aura dependency, which then points to the custom component that you want to show in your Lightning Out app. So let's take a look how the IBM Verse Mail Retriever component looks like. It consists of several elements, and I'm just getting the browser window beside that so that you can see how it looks besides code. Just logging in. And there we go. I have two fields, the mail subject and the account search field. Both are new base Lightning components, which means they are fully rendered using Salesforce Lightning Design System, and you don't have to add any custom CSS. You have different parameters like name, label, value, and so forth. I've disabled this field, the mail subject field, because in real world conditions it will be pre-populated by the JSON payload from IBM Verse. Second, I've added an account search. The account search has a few functionalities that I just want to showcase. First of all, I've set, as you can see on the right side, a minimum length for the input. So if I just enter 2 characters, it shows me directly an error message. You don't have to code it by yourself. The system takes care of that for you. And also on change, I'm firing a controller method on search key change, which then will look up within my Salesforce organization using Apex code for the accounts that match my input. So if I enter 3 characters, I'm getting that. As you can see, I have a drop-down menu with some nice icons. And this is where I've combined Salesforce Lightning Design System with standard Aura iteration. That means I'm using the styling that's available for the Salesforce Lightning Design System and build my own drop-down list based on the accounts that have been returned from my Apex controller. I'm also using the Lightning icon, which is a new base Lightning component, to display the account icon besides my search. So let's go to the controller. The controller has 2 key components that I want to showcase. First of all is a search key change. That one gets executed when the account search field changes. As I'm using a base Lightning component, I can check the validity property, which then allows me to check if the input is an example too short. So you don't have to check if the characters are 3 at minimum, because the base Lightning component takes care of that for you. If everything is fulfilled, I'm just executing a remote Apex action to look up the accounts based on my input. The second part that I want to highlight is the log mail function. It's basically a new button that then stringifies the verse data object, and I'm passing that also completely to a remote Apex controller. So let's see how that works. As a precondition, I have created a global class IBM Verse Mail, as I don't want to store the data as a custom object, but instead as an email message object. I want to have a, let's call it, transport class. Right? So I just created a Verse Mail class that reflects the JSON payload structure. And I'm then using this in my IBM verse controller, which is referenced in my IBM verse mail retriever custom Lightning component. So what I'm doing here basically is to convert the JSON to the IBM verse mail class. I'm using our standard parser, the JSON parser, and the read value as method. This then converts the JSON directly to a class which I then can reuse in my code. I prefer that instead of just iterating over the complete JSON. And then I'm basically using log IBM verse mail, which is used to create a new email message. That's a standard object, and it's used within the activities of Salesforce. And I'm passing there my verse mail data parameters, like from whom the mail got sent, who are the recipients, what is the HTML body, is it an incoming message, and so forth. You can check further fields that are available in the documentation. Last but not least, I'm setting the related to ID, which is the object ID of my account record. This is used to assign this email message to the specific selected account. And that's basically it. You will find the source code, some more documentation, an unmanaged package, all on my GitHub repo, Salesforce IBM Verse. Thanks for listening.